quite going, so we've got to start talking.
My message is on applying blood.
Applying the blood.
Applying the blood.
I mean, I'm excited for that. That's a good message for a church.
Well, it is, but I think it's a particularly good message for Easter because, we all know that the blood is important and that is what our whole faith, lies upon, is that the blood does what, was prophesied that it would do, the forgiveness, the atonement of sin.
Yeah.
Jesus did it all. You're going to probably touch on it tonight that, it was finished, it was completed, but it is we have to apply that blood. That blood was poured out for all, but it was up to each of us to actually
apply
it.
I did talk about the first Passover yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, about.
Are you trying to steal my notes?
No, I think I might have even said in my message that you will. No, I didn't say it in my message, but you'll probably touch on what I've said without knowing what I've said.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to parallel the, Passover to the cross, and just how they had to get the lamb and apply it.
Yeah.
We have to get the lamb, Jesus, and apply it.
So good.
And that even, in the Old Testament, I really believe that the Gentiles, if they had watched the Jews and gone, they're doing something, this is important. I don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it, but if they just replicated it, I believe the angel would have passed them over in the exact same way we did the Jews. Because it was about obedience to the instruction.
I like that.
Not just the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's time.
We're going to start.
We are going to start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Faith, where Sunday's revelations becomes Monday's obedience. So glad you can be with us tonight. We've got people saying hi. Hi, everyone who's already saying hi. I'm on the wrong page on my notebook. Let me just get to the right page. So, would really appreciate if you can like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things that you can. That would be really awesome. It helps get our video in content out there. We just also want to say we're really aware that I know we said at the start it was going to be an hour, and I don't know if we've stuck to an hour yet.
I think the first one was like an hour.
The first two.
Maybe the first two. Yeah, okay.
I want to point out it was the first two before Erin came on.
So it's Erin's.
I'm not the one with all the words, I tell you. But
you bring the words out.
Yeah, it's okay though. If you have to bow out early, we completely understand. The video will be ready and waiting for you. It's sort of like once we're finished with the live, it's uploaded straight away. So, you can watch it, straight away or tomorrow. It's all good. It's all good. You won't miss out on anything. We really love your questions. Love them.
We love when we have questions. And not even questions relating to the Sunday service, like questions.
Yeah.
It is my favorite thing to do is try and answer people's questions. Funny enough, I think that was one of my fears, sort of coming into leadership in church and pastoral leadership, of what if they ask a question that I don't know, and I don't know, just really hit with that simple thing. Well, if I don't know the answer, that's okay.
Absolutely.
But now I know what I'm going to look for.
Exactly. Exactly. It helps everyone.
Well, sometimes you don't know what you don't know until someone points out that you don't know it.
One of our children asked me the other day, and some of you will guess which child this was. How do you know that you've forgotten the thing that you can't remember?
Don't even. I can't.
Desire.
Can't even with that sentence.
That question.
I'm like, because you know that there's something missing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because your brain realizes it dropped a stitch.
Sure.
Like
Did
when
you
you're needing
fix your mic?
I'm hoping this is louder. Is this
that
louder?
good, Sarah?
We just gotta wait for.
Yeah, it's that delay thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hey, Stacey, Anastasia, welcome.
This week, Jaden really, really gave us a lesson in a lot of information. It was really good. And it's definitely one of those where I'm so glad I took notes because I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it yet, which I'm going to go back and watch it because there was just so much in it, and I loved it. And I loved the format that you did this week with the information and rabbit holes. It was really good because rabbit holes really, I love them. They work with my brain. So I love that there was more to delve into later, and he gave us lots of homework, which was good too. I like that. I only got through one psalm today though. But I'm looking forward to doing the others. But something that you said, I should say, his message was titled "Famous Last Words," and it focused on Jesus's last 7 statements as he was being crucified. So it's quite powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. But something that Jaden said later in the message just has been like doing the rounds in my brain. Like I'm thinking of ping pong in my brain. That's what I'm thinking of. Is like, how do you trust God with your eternity if you can't trust Him with your daily? And it's had me reassessing like where I'm faltering, because sometimes where you're faltering, not that they're idols, but they could be idols, couldn't they? Like, it's something that you're not willing to hand over to Him.
I would say that exact statement. If you are unwilling to trust God completely with the thing,
Yeah.
you're going to hold that thing above Him.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you say the right words, it's going to come to a him or you kind of situation.
Yeah. And I realize sometimes they can be something that we think is little and benign. But it's not. It just shows that our faith isn't necessarily where it's like meant to be. Because I just think of the big things. Do I trust Him with my finances? Yes. Did I pray before I made a decision today that I probably should have? No.
Because
Why?
that in itself is a fine line, though, of knowing, like, do we stop and pray over every little thing,
Yeah.
or do I, to the best degree as possible, have like a mind of Christ, because I've filled I've filled myself with the Word of God. I've spent time in prayer
Yeah.
and worship, and how much can we trust that I have the mind of Christ
Yeah.
instead of seeking, like, because some things. So with Jaden, some things I actually have to ask because I don't know like what his answer actually would be. But then other times I go like, I know that.
So
like,
you're saying like where you are in your relationship.
Would it depend on
Yeah.
how much you need to seek? Like, I sleepovers and things like that. Like, if you know that the standard rule is that you don't have midweek sleepovers, well, I
Yeah.
don't need to ask, should we or shouldn't we? Well, I already know
Yeah.
that answer. So I think the closer you are to Jesus, there are just some things you just know.
Yeah.
Is this going to draw me closer or pull me away? Like, and
Yeah.
so I don't necessarily have to sit and pray about that because I already know.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is when people don't really know.
Exactly.
And they're in that early stages of that relationship where they don't know his mind yet.
Or maybe, or even like, we always pray for more wisdom, but
Mhm.
sometimes we don't have that. And I guess that's the same thing, isn't it? Like wisdom relates to God's will, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Is that
and
the way
I
it
think we can
works?
deceive ourselves too.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've had to definitely repent from things that I haven't sought God after because I didn't think they mattered.
Yeah.
Because they weren't big things.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that the outcome really, like, it felt reasonably inconsequential, yet it wasn't.
Yep.
And whether that delayed things or pushed things or forced things to happen that maybe God would not. Like, had I have sought him, he might have said, not yet.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that that's what's in your heart, like that what I've put in your heart to do, but not yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes that can be like timing. Like, you can know his heart and his plans that he has, but not necessarily seek the timing of when is the time. And I think most of us, like the rest of us, we delay or enter early often because we haven't asked those simple things.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a bit of my focus this week, is just to try and highlight those areas maybe that I haven't fully surrendered or haven't given over. So yeah,
There is
I
a
really
question
like that.
here
Mm-hmm.
that Sarah put down that, what happened to Joseph for Jesus to hand Mary on to John. So the last account that we see of Joseph in the Bible is when Jesus is only 12.
Mm.
So you don't actually hear of Joseph after that point.
Which is kind of crazy, right? It seems like something that should be talked about. What happened to
Well,
Joseph?
the assumption, because he's not present in any of the accounts from 12 on, he's not present during any of the
But even
the ministry time, like from when Jesus is 30.
but even Jesus, we don't have any
from 12 to 30.
12 to 30.
But we don't have anything from Joseph at all.
No.
From 30. So the assumption from most scholars is that Joseph died at some point between when he was 12 and 30.
Yeah.
And that's why he's absent, because that they go on to have other children.
Yeah.
Like there's both sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So probably not likely when he was 12 because of how many children that they had. But possible. But definitely the general consensus across scholars is that he had passed away at some point prior to that.
Yeah.
And I'll wonder if, because like Jewish faith, like, when Jesus at 12, he wasn't a man yet. But by the time Jesus is 13, they're considered a man because of the bar mitzvahs. So, he would have then been the head of his house. Because as the eldest son.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wonder if at about that, around that 13 age, but there is no history that I am aware of that says at what age, or if there's any record anywhere.
And I mean, I haven't read apocryphas and stuff like that might say more information, but
I haven't seen any.
No.
Any at all.
Yeah, all we have is that he said he would look after Mary, that he would, be there, but then...
Which kind of gives you that point that up until that point, Jesus was looking after Mary, being the elder son. Because, culturally that would have been...
She's quite involved in his travels and in those things, I guess, as much as she could be, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
I do find it interesting, like, once again... Maybe we should do a Josh Howerton count, because he does do a great. He goes over to Ephesus and speaks about Mary's time there, like living there and stuff. And I just find it really interesting. What happened to Mary after that. It is well worth a watch. Anyway, if you have that time.
Yes, 13 is very young, but when you think that most girls were married around 15 as well, 13. Then is not 13 now.
Oh, definitely not.
We had children working like half days in mines and stuff like that from when they're 5 or 6. So it's a very different maturity level.
Definitely. Another thing that got me from Jaden's message was the fact that Jesus was interceding for us from the cross. And once again, it just reinforced the harsh, like, do you know what I mean? Like everything he had to endure for us, and
like interceding then and interceding now.
It's one thing to go, he's up with the Father interceding now. Can see that.
Yeah.
But being nailed to a cross, beaten, whipped, brutally attacked, like mocked, shamed, and yeah, just...
I just, like, I know on Sunday when I came home, and like the fact that he was talking in sentences is weird to me, because I couldn't imagine the excruciating pain. So let alone referencing Psalms and piecing it all together and giving it a conclusion.
Yeah,
is amazing. And then just intercede for us as well. Oh my goodness, so much. I had a little squiz at Jaden's notes today, just not long ago, and there's a whole section which he didn't tell us. See, is right. You probably can't see from there
because he went over time anyway.
Yeah, because he ran out of time.
Not that I got to be in there, but he went over time because that I'm certain all the children were biting at the bit.
I thought the preach went for about 40-45 minutes, and
You were wrong.
it was it was an hour and 5 minutes more likely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more like it. So, Nicodemus.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this one just for a moment. Nicodemus is I've said it before, he's kind of one of my favorite little side characters in the story of this history moment. Um like, I don't know what it is about Nicodemus that catches my attention, because he was a follower of the law, a teacher of the law. Yeah, he saw Jesus, but not enough to kind of step over that line and
Yeah.
become a disciple, to walk in that faith.
Not in his
Not
in
at the start.
Jesus's life.
Yeah, not at the start. And so, but he believed. And so, if you watch The Chosen, I think they portray the Nicodemus character so well. And if you
So he's.
the old dude,
Oh, really? Okay.
the
Yeah.
old guy that meets
Yeah.
with Jesus in the rooftop in the nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Nicodemus, and he gives Jesus money.
So the Pharisee.
He's a Pharisee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? So
But he always meets in secret.
Yeah.
he wasn't willing to step over the line and publicly say, I think I believe this guy.
Yeah.
And in the Chosen, if you get to season, I think it's 5 that we've recently watched, Nicodemus kind of goes away and he starts studying the scriptures, finding Jesus in the scriptures.
Oh, wow.
And so, similar to what Paul did, and that's not obviously in the Chosen, but going back and going, no, he's real, and here he is, and I can prove it, and I can teach you. And I thought that's so clever, the way that they portrayed that, because to get the Pharisees to see Jesus,
Yeah.
you needed the scripture to show them,
Yeah.
because they won't argue against the truth seen in scripture.
Well, they kind of did still.
They did still, but when they see the truth of it, they could see that it was real.
Yeah.
But so Nicodemus is an amazing guy, but the part where he comes back, because I miss this, and I always thought his story kind of ended with that moment when Jesus talks about being born again.
No.
But he comes back. He comes back after the death of Jesus. So in John chapter 19, it's just after the death of Jesus. It's the burial. So you got crucifixion, burial right after. How about I read it?
Yeah.
So afterward, Joseph of Arimathea, I practiced this word, Arimathea, who had been a secret disciple of Jesus because he feared the Jewish leaders, asked Pilate for permission to take down Jesus's body. I want to stop there for a second, because Joseph of Arimathea is also described. Now, there was a good and righteous man named Joseph. He was a member of the Jewish High Council. Right? And so the High Council was a very important position. If you watch The Chosen, we can reference to that, because people can catch that and grasp it and understand it. So he was a member of the Sanhedrin. He was a member of the High Council, which deliberated on how to kill Jesus.
Yep.
Crazy.
Or what to do with Jesus.
Or what to do with Jesus. And some of the bad ones said, let's kill him. So this was his placement. So this is where he came from. He was what did I say he was? A member of the High Council.
High Council, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When Pilate gave permission, Joseph came and took the body away. With him came Nicodemus. And that's where Nicodemus comes in.
Who came to get the body?
Joseph.
Yep.
And came with him Nicodemus. I also want to talk about that moment with the body as well, but I'm going to talk about Nicodemus first. Nicodemus came with him, the man who had come to see Jesus at night. He brought about 75 pounds of perfumed ointment made from myrrh and aloes. Like, man, that's a lot. 75 pounds.
Sure, I'm no good with that. I get it. That's a lot.
Basically, you spend a whole lot of money.
32.7 kilos.
Oh, that is a lot. Yeah.
Right? Following the Jewish burial custom, they wrapped Jesus' body with the spices and long sheets of linen. So this is how Jesus was buried, by Nicodemus and Joseph. The place of the crucifixion was near the garden, where there was a new tomb never used before. And so, because it was the day of preparation for the Jewish Passover, and since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Jesus there. Now, other accounts.
So I didn't realize that Nicodemus had anything to do with anything
Yeah.
like that. I really, I really, Easter's like new to me, so I didn't realize.
So
that.
in Matthew's account, it says he placed it in his own new tomb, which had been carved out of rock, and then rolled a great stone across the entrance he
Wow.
left.
So, but
Wow.
I read accounts on that basically said because he became, in that moment, the second he does the burial and gets the body, he's no longer a private follower, but
That's it.
a public follower, which would get him completely cut off from all of his
So it was
people.
quite a stand for
Yes.
him to make. Finally,
It was a public
Finally.
declaration in that moment.
Yeah.
Like his position of the high
stand-
council would actually be gone.
Yeah.
wow.
All of his peers gone. Like in that
Wow.
one moment with that one act, apart from the financial stuff, he would have been
So,
outed
so
and absolutely persecuted.
because Nicodemus knew the scriptures,
Mm-hmm.
would he have realized that Jesus he would be back? Or would Nicodemus have
I
seen
think
this
so,
as
because, like,
final?
well, he really knew
Okay.
the word of God and was researching it. So how, like, the fact that he put together all the different things that it said about Jesus, and you know, I reckon he would
Because it's a lot of effort besides the respect and love and all those things, all those amazing things that they did that for Jesus. It's a lot of expense to go for someone who's going to be in there for 3 days.
But I wonder if it was a just in case I'm wrong, like,
Oh, okay.
because there was no doubt, like, Jewish people today still say prophet, right? So
Yeah.
they didn't deny that Jesus existed; they just deny him
He
being
was
the
the
Messiah.
Messiah.
So, like, I mean, how many of us want to cover both bases? Well, if I'm wrong, I'm going to make sure that I've given him as a prophet
Honor.
the best honor that I could
Okay.
possibly give. But
Yep.
if I'm right and he's a Messiah, then I've also given him honor
Yeah.
publicly. I've publicly recognized his superiority. So I think it could have been both bases. Like,
Could have been,
Yeah.
or just the resurrection. I don't think was very clear in old.
well, he did say multiple times to the disciples
Yeah.
that in 3 days, in 3 days, in 3 days.
Jesus.
But I guess
said-
Nicodemus wouldn't have been privy.
Yeah, but
to
the Old
that bit.
Testament. Hang on, let me just double check. I'm sure the Old Testament speaks about it only being 3 days too, doesn't it?
I don't know if it does. So while you look at that, I'll share where this moment with Nicodemus and Joseph, how that fulfills a prophecy, which was Isaiah 53, verse 9, which is one of the ones that I said on Sunday. I read through Isaiah 53, but it said he had done no wrong. He had never deceived anyone, but he was buried like a criminal, but he was put in a rich man's grave.
Mm.
And so that's a prophecy
That's-
being fulfilled.
And in hindsight, 2020, like that, it's so clear, hey? It's one of those ones where it's not, you don't have to put any thought into that.
I wonder if afterwards Joseph and Nicodemus getting together and realizing, going, oh, we didn't even know.
They had their own breakout.
Yeah. God
Did you
used-
get that?
God
Did you
used
get
us to
what-
fulfill the prophecy.
Yeah.
So now I don't know, because I was obviously not there on Sunday. Well, I was there, but I was
You're children
Um,
churching.
serving in other ways. So one of the things that it suggests, right, is the prophecy from Hosea in chapter 6, where it says, sorry, let me pull it up. Come, let us return to the Lord, for he has torn us that he may heal us. He has struck us down that he may bind us up. After 2 days, he revives us. On the third day, he will raise us up. So, I mean, there's a couple of things there. It hints to like 3 days being
Yeah.
risen. Others suggest that Jonah was also a representation of that.
I would say Jonah and the whale is a great representation of Jesus.
But I have another just random
okay.
end time potential question, because no one knows the hour of the time, right?
Yeah.
But 3 days. 1 day is 1,000 years, right?
Yeah.
We're 2026,
Mhm.
2 days and a bit.
Yeah.
This says in 3 days he'll raise us
Yeah.
up. So
That-
I wonder if
that's-
that means
I think that's a valid theory that has been
suggesting that Jesus could return
made?
in the 3000s,
Will be by the 3,000.
by the 3000s. Yeah. Well,
That's still-
3 days. So it would
I
be
don't know.
3,000 and
Isn't
something.
that funny? Like, that's a long way.
It is a long. Well, not really. That's
Yeah.
74 years away.
What?
3,000.
Oh,
No, it's
no,
not.
it's not.
No, Linda.
What are we? 2026.
Wowzers.
Oh, okay, that's
Like,
a
I
really
just think,
long time.
I just think the world, I could not imagine on what dire
All right,
straits
look,
the world
it's
is.
night time. So it's
It's a
not 74
awful
years
long
away.
time
It's
away.
974 years away.
Awful long time away.
Oh, okay. Don't laugh at me.
It's like, could you imagine what would be like by then? I just could not imagine.
But Isaac being spared also rose on the third day. So there's a pattern of the third day in.
Was Isaac
That's-
spared on the third day?
That's what it says. Genesis 22. Let me double check.
I didn't read days into that one. That's
Genesis-
interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was because I've read that about the
It
foreshadowed.
was Jonah days.
Yeah, on
I
the third
literally
day.
just read Jonah.
So
Jonah was 3 days.
and I didn't get that it was 3 days.
yeah, 3 days,
Did you-
3
did you at
full
least get
days.
that he
So it's
died?
exactly the same.
No.
I
know.
told
No,
her,
and
I
was
actually had to
reading
read it out
No.
to her.
Do you know what the worst thing was? I was reading it knowing that you said this because it was
Yeah.
after you said that, and I said, Linda,
It doesn't,
doesn't
say
say
that
it.
he
it doesn't say
died.
that he dies,
I'm like-
and then she was. I'm like, okay.
I'm
So-
like, it says that he goes to Sheol and that water fills his lungs and seaweed wraps around his head. I'd
didn't
say that's
get
him
it.
drowned. Anyway, yes. So,
hate poetry.
so Genesis
Oh.
22, chapter 4. On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. And Abraham said to his young man, "Stay here with the donkey. I will take the boy to go up and worship." Then Abraham took the wood, blah, 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 blah. Well, God will provide. So it was on the third day that he took him up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
3.
interesting.
So on the third day, he could have been sacrificed. And
I did a bit of study once about the place, the mountain in which Isaac was to be sacrificed.
yeah,
And so there's a bit of a rabbit hole of conjecture there of that place being the Mount of Olives.
okay. I also have another thing that really stood out to me today while I was reading my Bible about suffering. So Jesus is on the cross and he's suffering,
Mhm.
and we all stand by that. What Jesus did, he's done once and for all. Blah blah blah. Yep, we got it right.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up on my phone
In
because it's
placement of sin.
in placement of sin.
Sure.
But in Romans 8, it was. Let me see. Because this is the first time that I'd actually read it, and I was a bit like, oh. Okay, so it says, the Spirit himself bears witness, this is verse 16, with our spirit that we're children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ, provided we suffer with him in order that we might be glorified.
Suffer in which way?
Suffer in life.
Suffer.
It literally says that if your life's comfortable, we're not doing what we're meant to be doing. Because it literally says provided.
But then where does, I'm not talking about the prosperity message, but where does prosperity then fall in that line?
It doesn't, because it's not the true gospel. So then it goes on to say, so it literally says that we're only heirs with Christ. We're only children of God if we suffer like he did. So suffer with him. And then verse 18 says, this is Paul writing, right? For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy comparing with the glory that'll be revealed. And then he goes on and says all the kind of things that you'd suffer, which is he talks about overcoming. And we were all really good, right, to quote the,
Positive.
We're conquerors.
Yeah. I love those verses.
I mean, they're amazing verses, but when you actually say what particular things that we're conquerors over, I wish I had my actual notes here. Let me find it if I can. I spent a bit of time in this today.
Do you want to grab your notes? They're just over there. Do you want me to grab your notes?
No, it's okay. Tribulation, distress, persecution, famine, nakedness, danger, and the sword.
I love that nakedness is as traumatic as all those
Nakedness.
things, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty traumatic though.
So in Christ,
Like, just
nothing will
if
separate us from
famine
the
and
love of
nakedness.
Christ.
if Adam and Eve were freaking out about it,
I know.
what about the rest of us?
Don't-
Oh no.
Yeah.
Just that seems weird things, but obviously referring to something else.
It
It's
might have a
literally
different
saying
meaning
Yeah.
just a little bit.
So it quotes in the Old Testament, for your sake, we're being killed all day long. We're being regarded as sheep to be slaughtered. No, in all these things, we are more than conquerors.
Oh,
And then it talks about, neither angels nor, powers nor height nor depth, nothing can separate us from the love of God. But it's referring still in direct correlation to our suffering. Like, if provided we suffer.
Yeah.
so is there more verses with the same? Do you know what I mean? Do you know how sometimes it's
interesting.
multiple times? Like
About us suffering
through
with
the
Christ.
scope? Yeah.
Because I could give a idea of suffering being that we have to crucify our flesh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And so, like, honestly, that is suffering, especially in the beginning of that. You have to suffer to die to yourself. It doesn't quite sound the same as what Paul's writing.
No, it doesn't.
No, I'll give you something else.
And
Paul
so
said.
Philippians 1, sorry. Can I?
Because I think it's usually confirmed like 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
in
So
the-
Philippians 1:29 says that it's been granted for the sake of Christ to not only believe in Him but also to suffer for Him. 1
So,
Peter.
could that be like persecution?
Yes. 1
Yeah.
Peter 4:13 encourages believers to rejoice as they share in Christ's sufferings.
When Jesus said that they hated me, they're going to hate you.
2 Timothy 3:12.
Mm.
Everyone who wants to live a godly Christian life will be persecuted.
Yeah.
Luke 9:23, followers must take up their cross daily. So it is basically talking about the uncomfortability of, if you're going to follow Jesus. Like, so many people say, like, we grew up hearing it, like, come to Jesus, life will be great.
It is.
But
in a
It
different
is.
way.
It is amazing.
No,
And that's
it
why
is.
but that's why I
great.
love that Paul said that anything that we do suffer is nothing compared to what we gain.
I just think. I
But
don't
we'd be
know how
liars
you
if we-
feel, but I just think words take on a whole different meaning once you give your life over to God. Great is completely different to secular great, and like
Mhm.
comfort, and like, I mean, they all take on a different meaning because life is great.
Well, it literally says to
But it's
rejoice in your
tricky,
sufferings.
like-
Rejoice in your trials, rejoice in your sufferings, because in that your faith is being perfected, and
Yeah.
your character's being built, and all of those things. But
Mm.
we the world would view suffering as, why would you want to do that? Like, Christians get beheaded, Christians do the blood. We go, because we know whatever it costs is nothing
Yeah.
compared to what I've obtained.
Maybe there's a whole message there in suffering versus blessing, or outlining the difference between prosperity and the suffering that we're expected to see.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it does say that we're meant to partake in his suffering. So there is a degree of difficulty. But I think it's more, when people reject Christ, you do feel a level of rejection. When people are hurting and you offer to pray with them and they reject that prayer, you experience a degree of grief or suffering.
But I think it sort of relates back to your message the week before about what scope and lens you look at it with, even suffering.
Mm.
Right? Like, it's, if you take a step back,
Well, I mean, Paul's
instead
writing,
of like zooming in on that suffering
Yeah.
and take that step back and look at it through, and it's different, right?
Yeah, well, Paul's literally writing that through the lens of it being a good thing,
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
It's
Yeah.
interesting that the apostles, including Paul, they were all very harshly persecuted. Paul, we get a lot more information about. In men's, we were reading Galatians 6, and at the very end of it, he ends this whole kind of conversation about circumcision and non-circumcision, and he ends it with this line of, um, basically, I don't want to hear about this anymore, for I bear the scars of serving Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, you've been through it. We'll take you. Your word. That's it. We believe you. You've
Yeah.
suffered for Christ.
Yeah.
You've got the marks to prove it.
But
Yeah.
we've seen people mock like the suffering for Jesus. Like I've done that.
Yeah.
You know, where it's a task that we enjoy in serving Christ, and we're like, "Yep, suffering for Jesus," and we go like, now in hindsight, that is such like not a great attitude.
No.
It is making light of.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I love that saying, Wendy. Count it all joy when you go through various trials. Absolutely, but there are times when, even as a pastor of this church, sometimes it feels like we're suffering,
Absolutely.
right? But at the same time, I can see how abundantly blessed we are. It's really confusing.
Yeah. But it's kind of like, but Paul says that, you know, he's enduring suffering for your sake.
Yeah.
And so I think it's got to keep reminding ourselves, because Paul's all.
Just the context of where he wrote that was talking about going home to be with Jesus or staying here on earth.
Yeah. Because he'd rather go.
Yeah.
But for
it
your
was
sake, I'll
better for you that I stay.
and that means that I'll keep being beaten, I'll keep being
Yeah.
you know, persecuted, I'll keep going through all of those things for your sake, not for mine. Like I've got my salvation, but for your sake. And I think that, you know, if we're honest, like so Paul so that bit that we were just reading before, he's talking about, you know, living by the Spirit and not by the flesh. So the Spirit being like from that perspective, that this is from the Spirit, not out of my own self. But how many times do we go through things in the hope that someone else will receive the revelation, in the hope that someone else will receive salvation, in the hope that, you know, they'll get deliverance or whatever? We put ourselves in places where we are very, very blessed and fortunate that we're not getting crucified. We're not getting beaten. We're not getting beheaded. At most we're getting unfriended. Like really,
but
in
sometimes
the scope of
hurts,
things.
But that's what I say, sometimes we behave like
it does
it
hurt
is.
though. But I think we have. It's like if you've never gone hungry, if you're an hour late for food, you're starving because you've got nothing to compare that to. But we do have something to compare. Is my suffering, my hurt, my rejection, my disappointment, my unfriend, is it even comparable to the suffering of Christ?
And that's something that I know I do for myself, and I know other people do too. But, you know, I'm going through this, but it really isn't that bad compared to what Jesus went through.
Yeah.
So why am I?
But I think that's the spirit, not the flesh. Because like our flesh hurts when someone says mean things to us, when people unfriend us and they reject us, when people, you know, it is suffering. It causes our flesh, our ego, our pride to suffer, but not like the apostles, not like Jesus. Like, in reality, it's nothing.
And I think we were talking the other day, like even in like currently in the world climate, like there's other Christians overseas that like it is life and death. Like and here we all, you know, the running thing is we don't like an uncomfortable seat in church.
Or the air conditioning too hot or too cold.
Like
but it's still or a service taking, you know, it's more than a 15-minute drive. That's too far to go to church. Or it's raining outside. I can't possibly go to church.
We take our inconveniences really seriously.
The pastor just keeps talking.
But like it's 12 o'clock. Like I must eat. I might die if I have to wait till 12:15.
So I think Josiah Queen has a song along those lines. You know, he talks about the disciple, especially I guess like one that sticks out is Stephen's death in the song, and it's like, how can I say I love you like them if I haven't gone through these things? And it is, and we like to think that we are, but it's not until sometimes we're tested on that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I said, like our church would be full.
But look at the book of Revelation, right? It says, you know, in the end days will faith be found. And I wonder if that's because when people are persecuted and their relationship with Jesus actually costs them and they actually suffer, like would they turn up? Like, people have struggled to get out of bed, or
I got something just going.
yeah,
This
go
just
for it.
jumped in.
You're going to have words or just sounds?
Who was the disciple that lived a long life and was not killed?
John.
Who was the disciple that was at the cross?
John.
Where were the others?
Not there.
Not there.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize that
They all scattered.
because we don't. Because we don't.
Hang on,
John
like,
is.
I was expecting
one,
a round of
wait.
applause. like,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, you
Jaden.
scared the cat. Sorry,
because
kitty
it
cat.
is one of those things where some people believe that John isn't dead, like he just lived eternally.
Yeah,
Actually, a lot of people
It's-
think
it's
it's a bit like Enoch, who was and
and
wasn't.
was not.
But, yeah, like,
that is a very good rabbit hole,
Yeah.
Jaden. That is a very good one.
that
Um,
is. But like at Easter time, when you're talking about our whole faith that bases on the crucifixion and suffering of Christ for our atonement, and yet we show our gratitude by driving maybe 15 minutes to the nearest church, and we turn up late, we don't pay attention, we flick through our phones, we don't pray because we're watching our TV show. This is the gratitude that we have for his suffering, is that we don't talk to him from one day to the next. He's just sitting in the room waiting for us to engage with him, but we got better things to do than talk to him,
but
who gave it all for us.
it's the thing, right? Like we behave like Jesus isn't in the room when we're in church. Like if we could physically see God's presence, if we could physically see the Holy Spirit, if we could see Jesus in this, our behavior would be so different.
Well, you'd
but
hope so.
all those
But
things
you know what my
are happening
concern
in
is,
church.
But my concern is that they wouldn't.
I can't imagine.
Because I don't know how
Can't
many people
imagine.
have actual awe for God.
Can't imagine. I can't imagine not keeling over.
Because we
but-
don't suffer. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, if it was us that suffered, you'd be like, you owe me, right? Like, in our flesh.
Yeah.
We would have a high expectation of honor. Like, if
Yeah.
we pour out for other people and then they dishonor us, so
Yeah.
let's go the opposite.
Yeah.
We're like, how dare you, after all I've done for you, go and treat me like this? Like, I have done this, right?
Yeah.
After all I've given, after all I've said, after all I've helped, and then in response for what I've given, I'm met with dishonor, disrespect, and I go, and yet if Jesus, and he is in the room,
Yep.
how dishonored does he feel? How dishonored does he feel in our homes?
Yeah.
Like, I like bled, I suffered.
Yeah.
I'm not only did I intercede for you, I am still
Still doing
interceding
it.
for you.
Even though you're so annoying.
And yet you dishonor
on
me
sinning.
by your Facebook feed is more important than.
Stupid humans.
I think that all the time. If something is not, that should be stupid humans.
But I
we
think
do
it's because
such
we don't-
frustrating stuff.
But we are dishonoring people.
Yeah.
Like,
And forgetful people.
we are.
But I go one further, because Jesus says these words, that which you did to the least you did unto me. All right. And so the least that the things that we do to the least in the kingdom of heaven is what we're doing to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Our unwillingness to help one another.
What do you mean?
I'm
Because
whoring at myself.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I think because the other day I felt convicted over it was a meme or something like that, and all it says is you should look at them like Jesus died for them.
Mm.
I'm like,
but we don't like
But
to
did he
inconvenience.
wasn't that just for me?
He said if I was the last person on earth, he would have done it
Wasn't
just
it
for
me,
me.
not you?
But we
No,
don't
but
like
that's
to
the
inconvenience
thing.
ourselves for one another.
Yeah.
Yet I go like, so some of the presence of God in other places, in other countries, right, is because they walk for hours
Yeah.
to encounter the gathering.
Yeah.
They sit and sing for hours.
So-
They
I'm a glass half full, mostly full, almost full kind of guy, right?
yes,
Mhm.
you are.
And so I know that we're not talking about politics tonight, but I know that the financial crisis around fuel is going to get crazy. Is crazy.
Very.
People are freaking out.
Very.
But how great of an opportunity that we can sacrifice before we even get in the doors, right?
By offering to pick other people up.
Or be willing to actually drive.
Hmm?
I know this is going to cost me $25, $30, $40, whatever it is,
To go to church.
to go to church, to be in his house.
Hmm?
So, and this is where my glass half full kind of attitude is. It's not, oh, it's so much and I can't afford to go there. Like,
I can't afford not to.
I'm sacrificing for Jesus.
Yeah.
Swing it back around.
Yeah. I'm with Sarah, an all day thing. Absolutely.
Maybe a nap time in the middle of
So
somewhere.
we just like, I mean, the chairs are pretty comfy.
Yeah,
Very comfortable.
just quiet
And
time.
I mean, I've seen people nap on them.
I have.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we could definitely nap.
Do you mean sit in his glory or nap?
Oh well, I
Soak
believe
or nap?
some people would definitely nap.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Now I'm going somewhere else.
Go for it.
replying yes, no.
Yes, absolutely
Yes,
no.
Yeah.
absolutely no. What do you
church
mean?
all day, no problem.
No, church all day. Yes, I think that's it's a.
But I think people struggle to come once a week.
amazing
Like
thing.
we're really blessed that we have stuff on
every day.
every day of the week.
Mm.
Yet, how many people desire? Like I get like, we used to both work like full time. We
Yeah.
understand. We've got a big family. We understand that it's really difficult to get. You can want to. I can desire to go to things. Doesn't mean that I practically can because of work and all of those things. Totally get that.
Yep.
But how many people that don't work that could don't, or work a couple of hours and could but don't?
I just think it's such a, even not looking at the numbers or anything like that, but like personally, that readjust. Like, say if through the night your sight just got a little bit off God, like, to mean your focus just got a little bit off, it pulls you back in the line. So you have that daily reminder every day. Oops, no, that's where my head's meant to be. That's where my position has to be. So I think even from a purely selfish point of view, it just keeps you facing forward.
It makes it easier to stay focused on Jesus.
It does.
It makes it easier
absolutely.
to walk in the spirit and not in the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to go through suffering. Like to
Yeah.
go. I remember when things were really crazy in life, before we got married, and I needed. It wasn't a case of I wanted. I needed to be at church, and I was a single mum. I had 2 kids, and I drove an hour to come to church. Like the church was not in a convenient location for me at the time.
So annoying when they're not in the right spot.
Like, and not only was it an hour's drive, it was a yucky drive because it was like windy and it was quite dangerous of the night or in wet weather and stuff like that. But I needed to be in the house. So if there was something on, that's where I was going to be.
Yeah.
But I think, maybe life gets too comfortable where we don't need it, which is where the suffering comes in. Like, the persecuted countries gather together really well.
Yeah.
The underground churches in China, like they band together, they knit together. There is an absolute drive of, because of their sufferings,
Yeah.
that, they draw close to Jesus. And I wonder, like, when they compare sufferings to the cross, whether that is because it's suffering that leads us, like, if we always pick the easy lane, if we always pick the convenient lane, if we always pick the one that doesn't cost me or costs me the least, then we don't suffer. We don't really, like, if you never speak up, you're never going to get rejected. If you never invite someone, no one's going to decline your offer.
Yeah.
So we can pick an easy road of no friction, no resistance, thinking that we're just living the good Christian life. But yet, according to some of those scriptures, if you've got the cruisy straight line, you're probably on the wrong road.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably not on the one, the narrow road. You're probably on the wide road to destruction, thinking that it's just a wide road and a nice, easy. I wished, for years, I've wished that my Christian walk would be like a plain runway, like that super smooth tarmac.
Sure.
Just, but it's never been like that for me. It's always been like jerking all over the place. You're hitting every pothole. And it makes it a bumpy and not a comfortable ride. And yet I can absolutely say that the suffering on the road definitely it's like the pebble in my shoe. There was a song on Godspell. Um, they put a pebble in my shoe, watch me walk. Sometimes I think God allows the road to have pebbles so that we suffer a bit to see if we'll still walk.
Mm.
Yeah, because when I think of people in other countries who it is life and death, I sort of compare it to, that moment where we're going through something horrendous, something horrible, which we've all gone through those things, and we're just clinging to God. That's their daily.
Yeah.
That's their daily. Like those times where we're truly desperate for God, like we know, like our next moment is reliant on Him. Like, so, and we've usually for us, us in the first world, usually it's just surrounding something emotional, not actual life and death.
Yeah.
But over there, it is life and death, and they just like their need for God is something that we're complacent about. Like it's complacency.
Have you ever felt yourself to be like the rich young ruler that couldn't pass through the eye of the needle?
Well, hence it goes back down to if I can't trust Him with my daily, right? In our privileged place.
But I think it's funny, right? So the Beatitudes.
Mm-hmm.
So blessed are the poor.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed are those who mourn.
Yeah.
Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst.
Yeah.
Blessed are the merciful, the pure in heart, peacemakers. It's not, I would say that even to be a peacemaker has a degree of suffering.
Oh, definitely.
Because if you're making the peace, you're not keeping the peace. You're making the peace, which means like you are probably going to wear stuff that was never meant for you to wear, but you're going to wear it just for the sake of peace. To merciful. Like if I've got to extend mercy on someone, what did they do?
Yeah.
Like the likelihood is they've hurt me.
Do you mean
for me to be merciful?
Like Jesus saying, "Forgive them, Father."
Mm-hmm. Mercy, right?
Like, ow, that really hurt.
But so that's those. So for us to actually be merciful, is from a place of pain.
Yeah.
To extend mercy from our pain, the meek means like broken pride. You've been humiliated. You've been, so all of the Beatitudes where God's like saying blessed because, it's in those times that He draws near. It kind of goes back to the cross, back to the suffering on, these things actually draw us closer to God. They position us better with God. And Jesus, what a perfect example on the cross that says, forgive them for they don't know what they do. And what other things did He say?
Lots.
He said 7 great statements. There's a good message about it that puts them all together.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is really good. Was really, really good. So, we might wrap it. Or you got words?
We're going to finish on time.
Nah, we can't do that.
No, because Jaden's got some words.
I've got.
Well, we might still finish on time. We've still got 7 minutes.
We'll do this one. So there's one other thing that I touched on Sunday, sort of finishing and didn't really fully explain, and it was the reason why Jesus was pierced.
Oh, there's something else we forgot to talk about. Timeline. We're not going to finish on time.
Sorry.
Oh, the timeline. Okay.
Timeline.
Go. Let's just talk about the piercing. So I shared on Sunday's message that that the Jewish leaders come and said, we don't want these bodies up over the Sabbath, over the Passover event. That's not good. We want to deal with it now. Can we hurry up? And so they order the soldiers to break the legs of the people on the cross. So the soldiers go and do it to the 2 criminals. I got that word right. But they realize that Jesus is already dead. And so that's when the soldier places the spear in his side just to prove that, like, make sure he's dead.
Yeah.
And the blood and the water flows out. And so if you read in John chapter 19, 31 through to 37, that's where I'm kind of looking at and speaking from. It says, this is a report from an eyewitness giving an accurate account. But the Roman soldiers in that moment, in a couple of the Gospels, they go, this is the Son of God, and they're converted. Right? They see the Messiah, dead, dying, gone, but they see truth and they realize that their God is real. That's the first Gentile conversions after the cross or through
Oh,
the
wow.
cross
Yeah.
is the Roman soldiers. I'm like,
Wow.
yes, love that. Says in verse 36, these things happen to fulfill, in fulfillment of the scriptures that say, not one of his bones will be broken, and they will look on the one that they pierced. And so when you look at Exodus 12:46, it's talking about the Passover lamb, giving instructions on how to do the Passover lamb. And it talks about how to eat the Passover lamb. Nothing can be wasted. If you can't, get a friend, burn it, all those things. But one of the things it says is do not break any of its bones. Do not break any of its bones. And so Jesus' bones were not broken. He was brutally beaten.
Yeah, he was.
But not one of his bones was broken. So the other criminals on the cross, their bones were broken.
Pierced for our transgressions, not broken.
It says pierced for our transgressions. That's in Isaiah 53, or is that in Psalms? I don't know. We talked about that. But then Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10 says, then I will pour out a spirit of grace and prayer on the family of David and on the people of Jerusalem. They will look on me whom they have pierced and mourn for him as an only son. They will grieve bitterly for him as a firstborn son who has died. Another just reference to the coming of Jesus, the prophecy of his crucifixion. I'm like, how incredible. And I listed a few prophecies of the crucifixion, but there are so many more that I didn't go anywhere near.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's incredible the amount of prophecies about the crucifixion. But even just that one random thing.
And yet they still thought he was going to come in as a warrior and kill everyone. And, you know, as a,
Because we have this perception of how God should do things.
We do. True.
Yeah.
Like, God should redeem me this way.
Yeah.
And yet his ways are not our ways. I've definitely had answers for how he should deal with things that I go through.
God should teach me humility without me having to be humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. So what's your timelines?
All right. So it was just a timeline, and maybe those that get the notes will be able to read it and understand it, but it gave a timeline of the things that Jesus said on the cross. So 9 a.m. So the Bible gives you in the third hour, and so that gets really confusing. 9 a.m. Jesus.
Was it the third hour or the third watch?
See, that's where it gets confusing. Third hour. You might have another version that says on the third watch. No, third watch is midnight.
Yeah, hang on.
That's different. Anyway, so 9 a.m. Jesus was crucified, and that's when he said, "Father, forgive them." Somewhere around 10 to 11 a.m., the criminal hurled insults at Jesus. So these are not exact. It could have been at that same moment of 9 a.m., or it could have been just after. But that's when Jesus said, tomorrow you'll be with me in paradise.
Today. He said today.
He said today.
He said today.
And he also said to John that here is your mother, and to Mary, his mum, here is your son. The next point is the 12 p.m., so midday, the 6th hour. Darkness came over the whole land until the 9th hour. So for 3 hours there was darkness. So 3 p.m. is when, or right around the 3 p.m., Jesus kind of gets his last kind of punches in. That's when he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? After that he says, I'm thirsty, followed by it is finished. And then finally, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And so 3 p.m. Is when Jesus died, and the earth shook, the temple curtain tore. It says that tombs were open and people came out. It's where the centurion saw and said, surely this was the Son of God.
Amazing.
So just about like some of the things that happen in the timeline, right? So we know that the sky went black for 3 hours. And so scientific evidence indicates that a total eclipse could not have happened for 3 hours.
That's right. I didn't get to say that.
But because a Passover always occurred on a full moon, not a new moon. So that was how it was impossible. But researchers have since identified a lunar eclipse, a blood moon, occurred on April the 3rd, 33, which aligns with the biblical accounts of a darkened sky and aligns with the date of the crucifixion.
Yeah.
Which is,
Amazing.
but listen to April 3rd, 33. 333. Like, there's a whole lot of symbolism.
Did you
there.
end up getting that book on the?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
good.
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 I did get that book on the importance of biblical number and
Yeah.
timing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was incredible. That because all the gospels, so Matthew, Mark, and Luke say that there was darkness for 3 hours, noon till 3 p.m.
Yeah.
which is interpreted by some as just straight up miraculous. But there was a 3rd century historian, Thallus, that also said that it didn't fit a natural eclipse in his stuff. But yeah, because Luke's version says that the sun was darkened or the sunlight failed. But yeah, they're saying that it was accounting to a blood moon.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow.
Very interesting.
I just thought it was a rabbit hole interesting. That
It is
the
rabbit hole
three,
interesting. I love when
three.
like obviously we have faith, but I do love when we can prove through science.
Yeah.
Because it feels like no.
Well, even
There's
like
your
the
science.
imagery of all the things Old Testament to New Testament, like no one could do that. Like who in, like you said at the start of tonight, who are their sufferings able to quote scriptures with precision? Like when we're suffering, we're lucky if we can remind ourselves that God is existing. Let alone, do you know what
I
I mean?
would say
Like,
most people in their moment of suffering can't remind themselves not to curse and swear.
that's right.
Yeah. Or even
let
care
alone,
about anyone else.
let alone to
Yeah.
truly
For a
seek
moment.
and reach out for God. I incredible. Only God, right?
Yeah.
Only Jesus
Absolutely.
could do what he did flawlessly. But yeah, I think it's such a I used to not understand why so Christians often would go away from churches in Easter's and Christmas because it doesn't matter kind of thing. We're in church every week. That's really just for, but I go like our entire faith belief system hinges on the crucifixion and the resurrection of Christ. Now it doesn't matter that it's not the right date. It doesn't matter, like, because I know some Christians also carry on about that, but we don't even do it on the right date. We should be doing it on the Orthodox Jewish calendars and blah, blah, blah. But, we live in Australia and not necessary, right? But
they changed them.
That's right. I know. But it's not even about the date.
In the first century, they changed the Jewish calendar.
Yeah. But if we who believe that everything that Jesus said and that it means what it means for us now, why would we disregard the time of year where he should be most honored? Like how many people, like when their spouses die, they do Facebook posts on every year, happy birthday, happy heavenly birthday to their parents, to their children, to their spouses, like happy heavenly birthday. We're going the day that they've passed, they'll go and sit on the grave, bring flowers to the grave. That's just a day that you honor
and remember that person, right? So we do that for our flesh all the time, for year in, year out. Like people do that till the day that they die. Like even if it was 50 years, for the last 50 years, I keep going back to this place because it's about honor and it's respect and stuff like that. And yet Christians, like, us Christians, we have one time a year designated to specifically, you honor, like, because my argument here, and I have to say this, because the excuse against like not gathering on that weekend is because we do it all the time, right? So in the same logic, do you not care about your spouses or your mothers or your fathers or your deceased children every other day?
Yeah.
Because that does, like, do you only care about them on that one day, or do you care about them every day that they're gone?
Mm.
So by the same logic, would we not go, well, we gather together for church, but we make it an extra effort to recognize who they are and what they did, even more so than normal, because it's a time for that remembrance.
Yep. No, I
You know,
get
we
it.
don't go every day to a graveyard, but most people go every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important for us to always remember the greatest day in history.
You know, I think Christians, especially modern Christians, are more likely to go camping, are more likely to go, you know, spending time with my
Sure,
family. It's the one
yeah.
time a year that I get to spend with my family. And I'm like, it's the one time a year that you should be honoring Jesus over your family and taking your family to honor Jesus.
Not to justify those, in air quotes, Christians that only turn up for his death day and birthday.
Yep.
Mhm.
But you know what? That shows more honor to me than the people that don't show up, even if they're at church every week.
Yeah, sure, maybe. I don't know.
It's a heart stance. It depends
It
where
is
the heart
it is a heart stance,
Yeah.
but I it's one I just don't get.
Mm.
It is one that I honestly just don't get.
Yeah. Sure.
Speaking of Easter, we have some really fun things happening this weekend.
It's Cessnock weekend this weekend.
It is Cessnock weekend. So
That worked out
on
quickly.
Friday, starting in Kempsey, on Friday we are having our family fun day. Saturday is Cessnock, where it's Transformation Church Cessnock service, our second one, which is super exciting. Then on Sunday we'll be back in Kempsey doing the main service, and in Cessnock they will be having an Easter
kids
day as well. So for all the information, all the details, see either the Kempsey Facebook page or the Cessnock Facebook page, whichever is applicable to you, and you'll be able to get all that information. If you need someone to contact, the details will be there as well. I think we just really want to say invite everybody.
Yeah.
Salvation is important, and we need to get, you know, people saved, and that starts with an invite.
Yep.
Yeah. If that's your level of comfort, invite them to Good Friday or a Sunday service, and we'll preach salvation.
Yeah.
And
Well, but that's the
you
thing,
know.
right? It's yeah. I
And Wendy
couldn't say all
just
the
said about
words.
Colossians Day today. Yes, our
Yes.
corporate Bible study has commenced this week. So depending what day your groups are on will depend what day. So we're all reading. This is in Kempsey and Cessnock, and anybody else that is a part of our church, but maybe living in other locations. But you believe that we're still a part of your storehouse. You're a part of our house. You know what I mean,
That's
right?
interesting phrase. Yeah.
I know, right? So Colossians chapter 1, there'll be Facebook posts. I think it would have come up already today. Did the week 1 come up with the questions, or is that
All
tomorrow?
4 weeks.
No, so tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. If you were not a part of a life group, every Monday morning, I think, this particular one, I think I did it Tuesday. No, it was today. Both posts come out today. The overall for the 4 and then the 1.
Okay, awesome.
So in the comment, like not the comments, the description says the questions, the things to think about. But can I just encourage, if you're not a part of a life group, you don't have to be a leader to invite someone over to your home and to go, hey, let's read Colossians together. We've got the questions on Facebook so that way, if you don't know what to talk about regarding Colossians, and you don't need to know the answers, but just start having the conversation. There's 3 questions each week just to help apply it back to your life. So we're doing that. There's only 4 chapters of Colossians, so that's the next 4 weeks. Which is pretty awesome, but it's always better I think, to study the Bible with other people so that you can gain revelation, or because you don't know what you don't know. So if you've missed something, they might catch it and be like, well, what did this mean? And you might have just done one of those wheelbarrows, skipped over it because you didn't know what the word was.
like Jonah dying.
Yeah, I know. I miss lots of stuff. But that, hey, I live with two handy pastors. Aren't I lucky? The other thing is Wednesday is prayer and fasting day for those that are doing their list, their monthly list. And it also happens to fall on our normal day where we come together on a Wednesday night for prayer and worship. So hopefully it's going to be a big, big day. So 5 o'clock on YouTube, and in person is prayer and worship, but yeah, fasting for that day. If you join in, that'd be great. Okay,
I think that's it.
thanks, guys.
Wow.
Nice to meet with you.
We will still be on Monday, even though it's a public holiday.
Yeah.
We're still coming.
Yep,
So we hope you are too.
yeah. If not, you can watch it on the.
Tuesday.
You can watch it the minute we end.
Uh,
All right. See
All
you,
right,
everybody.
have a good night, guys. Thanks.